Okay, so welcome to the Ancestral Healing Masterclass. So this is Healing Ancestral and Genetic Karma. So you're all very, very welcome on the live and the replay. And so tonight is going to be very special because we're going to be connecting with our ancestral blocks and restrictions, things that are not supporting us that we're still holding on to. But we're also going to be healing for those that wish to step forward, our ancestors as well. So we're going to do that aspect within the Akashic record. So what I like to do, first of all, is just open the space before we actually start. So if you've got a candle or a tea light or something that you would like to light up, then please do that. If you haven't, then just pull in on the energy of everybody lighting their candle. I'm doing this now before I forget, because I always forget. So this is my candle. So I'm just officially opening the space. And by lighting the candle, I think it's just like it's just kind of an indication that we've officially opened this space, and we're inviting our spiritual support team in, and any being of 100% pure love and light that wishes to be in the space, holding your energy, holding the energy collectively to support our healing tonight and to support us getting guidance, insight and clarity. So we just invite those energies in. Now I'll formally invite those energies in, but I can feel that they're starting to already step into the space. I have a lot of energy. A lot of energy has been placed around my head today, and I've had to, when I've been working with clients, ask it to actually step back, because it's been that strong, and I can feel that same energy again. So I don't know if that's actually Mother Mary's energy, because I've not worked with Mother Mary before, so I'm getting a yes. Okay, so thank you. So Mother Mary's energy is very strong, so that's really cool. So she will work with you individually as you're watching this live, watching this replay. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen, bring up a little presentation so you can get an understanding of what we're going to do. We'll go through the activity sheet. So if you've got a pen and paper, fantastic. If you haven't, nip and get one, because we need to do some reflection. And I will bring up the questions on the screen, so you don't have to have the workbook printed out, but it's good for you to have that in case you want to go back and look at it. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. So hopefully people can see that. I'm going to take it down. Okay. Okay, so can everybody see that? Has everybody got, somebody give me a thumbs up, or, yeah, perfect. Thank you, Conchetta. Great. So I'm going to just minimize so you're all safe. Okay, so welcome, as I say, to Healing Ancestral and Genetic Karma, this Soul Activation Masterclass. Okay, so this is just briefly a date for the next one. We're going to go into Lionsgate, which is the 8th of the 8th. So the Thursday before that is the 5th. So this is going to be a precursor to that amazing portal, which will be on the Sunday. So that will be a Lionsgate Akashic activation. So do jump on that if you are wanting to support your own ascension process and to invite in the abundance light codes. And we're going to be working with, I already know who, we're working with Isis, and we're going to do some pyramid stuff. So there's going to be some deep stuff that we'll do on that one. So if that floats your boat, in readiness for the 8th of the 8th, then do jump on that as well. Okay, so we've got just, that's the kind of the overview of the agenda, the introduction, Akashic record info, activity sheets, which we'll go through. I'm going to do the pendulum clearing after that. Then we're going to do the Akashic record journey. And then we've got time for a Q&A and a share at the end. Okay, so most of you will know who I am. So I'm Marina, the Soul Alchemist, and I use the Akashic Records to support everybody that I work with, that I introduce the Akashic Records with, to really support them with clearing non-beneficial energy, learning more about your own soul path, your own soul journey, how you've been created, and getting guidance and insights. But I also use the Akashic Records to support our intentions. So really enhancing and amplifying the energies of our intentions. So not just placing an intention out to the universe by placing it into the Akashic Records with a symbol or an activation or a affirmation or something, or a symbol. It really enhances the intention. It allows you to take more aligned action to realize that intention. So it's more powerful by placing them into the Akashic Records. That's what I've found anyway. So that's why I do that. And I use them either through channeling with my guides, or I use a pendulum. But people use them by connecting with their Akashic Records and just doing automatic writing. So you can use the Akashic Records in a variety of ways. There's no kind of hard and fast rule, but generally visualization or meditation, embodying your Akashic Records is a fantastic way to do it. So what are the Akashic Records? So most of you know that they're a fifth dimensional energy field that sits on the fifth dimension. They're actually in our physical body. They're part of our energetic DNA. And they are visualized as a library that holds lots of information about every single lifetime that we've ever lived since our soul's creation. So every choice, consequence, thought, feeling. Animals have their own Akashic Records, properties and homes have their own Akashic Records. The planet, actually, this is something we recently discovered, the planet has her own Akashic Records. So the Akashic Records are very, very powerful. They've been around since the beginning of time. And it's only in the last 30 years that they've become increasingly popular and more known. Edgar Casey is a really famous user of the Akashic Records, and he brought, I guess, that concept to modern times in the 1920s. He was known as the sleeping prophet. So he would go into a trance and connecting with the Akashic Records. The benefits of using them is to basically gain insight around your own journey, to do your own healing, to, as I say, place success anchors in to support your intentions. But the benefits also is to use them to support other people as well. And to use them effectively, really, for me, it's to kind of do them on a regular basis. Have an open mind, be curious, don't go in with a high expectation of what you're going to receive, because I think with most things where we're connecting with our guides, we just need to be open, because we can build up what it is that we want to get answers on. And usually we'll get something a little bit different from that. And then we might feel a little bit disappointed or crestfallen. So you get more from your Akashic Records, the more open you are and the more curious you have, curiosity you take into that. Okay, so I use Archangel Metatron as my main guide. Obviously, you've got your own Akashic Record keepers as well, and they will step forward when we go into the Akashic Records. But Archangel Metatron is also a scribe of the Akashic Records. But other guides can be brought in. So we're using Mother Mary. She's going to step in tonight. She's already with us. I use quite a few angels in there, but I use goddess energy. Excuse me. I use dragons. So really the world is your oyster in terms of who you bring into your Akashic Records, because at the end of the day, you're just bringing that guide, that spiritual support into your space. So animal guides, ancestors, whoever you feel you need support from, you can bring them into your Akashic Records, and they can support the healing or the guidance that you need. Okay, so today we honor our ancestors. And we're going to be honouring our ancestors with a healing that we're going to do in the Akashic Records. And I think it's important to honour our ancestors because they've paved the way before us. And obviously there's going to be some things that they've done maybe through fear, maybe through wanting power, maybe through misinformation, whatever the reason that they've made their choices, on some level that will affect us if we have made a similar choice in our own past lives. But we still need to recognize that our ancestors, although there has been those misaligned choices, they have also, you know, paved the way in doing lots of greatness, you know, overcoming lots of things, fighting perhaps for our freedom, freedom of speech, whatever it might have been. So I feel it's really important that we have a part of this session where we honor our ancestors and allow them to step forward, so you can continue that connection yourself after the session. So when we do this, and when we allow a spokesperson from our ancestral lineage to step forward, we can really create a beautiful bond, and they can support us in many, many ways. So there will be lots of behavioral patterns that will relate to our ancestors that have gone past, that we will never have met those people on our lineage, but we will have their traits. And so some of those traits we may not particularly like, but we still need to honor an aspect of that, because in some way, shape or form, we have chosen our family on the stuff that we actually hold within our energetic DNA and within our Akashic records. So we can't, you know, the blocks and restrictions that we have in our Akashic records, and we are playing out today, we can't blame on our ancestors, because we're already holding the energy of that block and restriction. So for instance, if we feel that we're challenged by poverty or challenged by lack, we've already chosen that energy in another lifetime. And then our forefathers, our foremothers have also chosen or experienced poverty and lack. And so when we come to choose our physical family to reincarnate with, we are looking for souls that have got a certain aspect of lack and poverty within their soul makeup, within their blueprints. And then we decide, okay, so you're good souls for me to incarnate with, either because we've had lifetimes already together, but also energetically we're a match. Vibrationally, our frequencies are similar, and you're going to be able to help me to overcome perhaps this energy of poverty and lack. You're going to show me poverty and lack because you are energetically holding it. You're going to demonstrate poverty and lack through perhaps your behavior and your communication. And so that helps me to relate to this poverty and lack, but it's what I choose then to do with it and how I engage with it. And do I bring conscious to it? And do I decide, actually, I've had enough of poverty and lack, I'm going to start doing something different. But this is where our ancestors help us. But they've obviously done great things also that requires us to honor them. So that's why I just wanted to say that we are going to honor our ancestors in this session. Okay, so there was a workbook for this session, which I'm going to just show you, because I know some of you have just got the link, so that's fine. You can go back and look at this. So this is part of your email that you would have got. So just kind of recapping there in terms of honouring our ancestors, and then you've got these questions, which are going to be the same as what's on here. So if you're just writing it out on a piece of paper, if you're writing it in a notebook, in your Akashic journal, you might have an Akashic journal, which is something that I would recommend. That's perfect. So I'm going to give us a certain amount of time to kind of go through this. And the idea of this is to bring clarity to present life. So we haven't got to worry about any past life stuff at this point. I want you to bring your attention now to the stuff that is going on around you at this moment, maybe past life, in this lifetime, that you would like to kind of see resolved, you would like to let go of, obviously around family and ancestral stuff. So I'm going to ask you a number of questions, which is just going to help you to get clear. So then when we go into the Akashic records, you've already mentioned some of the stuff that you would like to release, but there might be some more stuff that you can add based on these questions. So are there any family feuds or dysfunctional relationships within your family? Now, these could be between other people, these could be directly impacting you. That's something that I would like you to know, like you to think about as well. If there are family feuds and dysfunctional relationships, how have they impacted you? So just kind of, I'm going to give you a few minutes just to kind of go through these. And with family feuds, you tend to find that there's that split within the family, and then there's this kind of tribal loyalty thing that then pops up, where you end up cutting out certain people in, within your family, and they're not spoken about, or it creates very conflict or very angry energies. So it can be quite uncomfortable. It might have, depending on what it is, but it's just good to acknowledge where you sit within those splits. And I would say most family have splits. I know we do in our family. So, and then the next question is, are there any relationships of guilt, control, manipulation, or fear? So this is where we are doing things out of guilt. So we might be people pleasing with certain people. There may be an aspect where we are controlling relationship, and that might be to protect us. There may be the energy of a manipulation, feeling manipulated. And, that can come from very narcissistic family members, or there might be this aspect of fear. You do things from an energy of fear because you may have grown up with communication that was very shouty, very angry. And so rather than coming from an empowered place and being able to say no, maybe there's always that, again, it's that yes, and feeling humbled and almost downtrodden. And even though it might not appear like that now, and the relationship may not be like that, but there will be that undercurrent that's still there. So just think about anything there. And then that last question there is there a need to be loyal to your family above all else? And so with some families, there is this thing around blood is thicker than water. And we do have this societal conditioning and programming around that. And we can stay in connections with our families far longer than is good for us, because we feel and we've been brought up to have this loyalty. Keep secrets, you know, don't tell what's really going on. You've got to choose us over, you know, other people, partners, relationships, whatever. And so there is that, there might be that fear aspect around stepping out of that, because there's going to be judgment, there's going to be a being pushed out of the tribe, which as a human, from a human perspective, that's the thing that we really do not want. We don't want to be left out in the cold, on our own, without support, without love. And so we can hold on to any kind of connection because of that fear. And you may have witnessed going against the grain with your family and the results of that as well. And so when you come back into the tribe, then there's going to be that fear of stepping back out of it, because you've already experienced what it was like. So, or you've seen other people being kind of pushed out. And it will be interesting to understand what the impact of that is if you were to not be loyal to family, what your perception of that would be, because often our perceptions are incorrect as well. And then the last thing I would say on that is just to, if you've got very, very good connections with your family, I guess it's just understanding where you're, you know, what is your level of loyalty? Where does that line stop? And where do you put yourself within that? And are you still at the top of that? You know, are you being loyal to yourself first above all else? Or does your family take precedent in some kind of way? And then why is that? Okay, so we go to the next page. And this is really just reflecting on if this is yours or your family's. So this is kind of more with your environment and kind of your upbringing. So do you have limiting money story beliefs running through the family? So you may have come from a family that might have been, you know, fairly well off, but there will be always this kind of like, there isn't enough. So there would always be kind of this negative tone running through everything, you know, that was brought into the family, rather than looking at all of the abundance that was available. There's always this kind of like, there isn't enough, or money doesn't grow on trees, or you can't have it all. Whatever it might be, there will be some kind of limiting belief or money story that runs through the family. And for some, it's kind of, it'll be boom and bust kind of scenarios where there was lots of money and then it completely went. Lots of money and then it all went again. So just see if you have that around you. You can connect in with that. And just think about how that's impacting you at the moment, if you have that running. And then the next question is, if there's struggle and lack, is there a struggle or lack, need to work hard mentality within your family? Now, I would say 9 times out of 10 that this is going to be one that's present, just from the generations that we've kind of come from. We have this work hard mentality, but it's how we are still holding that energy and upholding that belief ourselves. And why are we doing that? And is it because we would get judgment from our family if we were to relax a little bit more, go more with the flow, trust that the abundance will come? Will there be judgment from the family that we're not working hard enough? I don't know. But where does this struggle and lack and need to work hard mentality come from? There might be a particular family member that was rooted with, that then rippled out to the rest of the family. And it will be through communication, it'll be through their behavior, it will be with their beliefs, never feeling that they could get a break in life, or physically an actual break, a holiday, whatever it might be, time off. And if you can pinpoint where you feel that that presents itself the most in your life at the moment, is it through work, through your business, in your relationships? So relationships can kind of, lack of love. I can never find the right relationship. I can never find the right person. There's a lack mentality with that. For me, lack of time. I'm always running out of time because I never think I have enough time. So I have a lack mentality with that, which will present itself with, in business, whatever, it comes through. So that's a retraining of my mind to just know that I haven't all the time that I need. But it takes a little bit of time to shift. To me, I visualize that as being like the Titanic, actually turning it around. It's taking its time, but I will get there. I will get there. And then, has your family suffered continual struggle, health challenges, drama and tragedy? So that might be something that runs through, that there's a particular health challenge that runs through, say, the female side of the family or the male side. Or there's just this continual struggle, can never get your head just above water, or you're just above water, but you can never get this full break. Or there might be lots of drama. There's always something going on, somebody breaking up, family feuds, or there could be, this tragedy. And certain families hold this energy, and that, they're incarnating together in order to continue this energy until somebody breaks it and starts to step out of it. And then that in itself ripples out and starts to affect positively the other members of the family, but it needs somebody to trigger it. So again, just think about the impacts that these have personally have had on you, and how it's preventing you from moving forward in the most aligned way. Okay. Okay, so thinking about those questions, those 6 questions that we've had, is there one particular area that you would like to focus on, and why is that? So it could be a particular relationship, situation, pattern, belief, struggle, challenge. Just think about what that is and why you want to focus on that. Okay. And then when you're ready, you can set your intentions for your own Akashic journey. So what would you like to see change from today? So some of you have already put that in the chat, in the comments, the things that you would like to release and what you would like to change. So it could be then it impacts positively on yourself, on your business, your relationships, family connections, friendships, work, community, whatever it might be. Where would you like to see that change show up? And usually what you find is, even though you're focusing on one thing in terms of that positive change, it will impact the other aspects anyway. So we understand what it is that you want to change. So what do you want to release? What do you want to let go of? So again, some of you have already placed this in the chat. So this is just going to confirm. Might be money blocks, ancestral blocks. I would put anything in there. So even if it's not family related, what would you like to release today? Because this will all be encapsulated even, captured, ready to be released. And as you're writing this, your higher self is taking in all of the words that you've now written out, because you've released them from your physical body. They're now energetic forms. They have their own bodies of energy, these words. They have an energy connection behind them, because you've written them with an energy, with an emotion.
I love you, okay.
And these are now separate forms within the room.
There's a carrier bag and it's got my cake box in. Oh, do you need it tonight? Yeah. What for?
Abby, can I just ask you to mute? Is that okay?
In the box and gone,
Thank you. So these words are their own energy forms, and they're now in the ether. They're on the page also. So your higher self and our guides are going to just go around and gather those up. So they're being gathered up, and they will be collected, and they're going to be taken into the Akashic records. You're going to have those, but they're going to be presented as a specific healing that we will do in the Akashic records. But just part of the process of you releasing them has already started by you placing them onto the page and then being in the energetic field, in the space that you're within. Okay. So writing down your insights is powerful. Not only does it give you clarity, but it helps you keep in alignment with your choices, actions, and results. So this is at the end of the session. So we're going to give a little bit of time just to understand what your journey was. You can write down your feelings, your thoughts, your messages, what you saw, what you felt. So however you experience your Akashic records is perfect, and we all experience them in a very, very different way. And that's okay. So I'm going to stop the share because we'll come back to these questions at the end. Okay. Okay, so I've got that, Linda. That's beautiful. Okay. Okay, perfect. I Has anybody got any questions from that? Any insights, anything that was a surprise to them as they went through that exercise? And obviously you can go back and reflect and go deeper with that if you need more time. If you haven't, then that's absolutely fine as well. I just was just asking the question. Marita wants to let go of family drama and crisis. I want Mother Mary to settle a beautiful blue mantle over me and my family. Okay. So you've intended that, Marita, so we'll ask Mother Mary to do that. Okay, thank you, Elena. Okay. Victoria wants to release trauma, money blocks and lack of self-worth. Okay, and Elena wants to release old commitments. Okay, perfect. So there's lots of release in here. Okay, so what we're going to do first of all is we're going to do the pendulum healing. So I'm going to ground you, and then we'll do this pendulum healing, and then I'm going to call in more guides to hold the space. So Scylla's letting go of money blocks, gluten and lactose intolerance. Okay, and Linda wants to work on my need to do it all and release my need to hide. Yes, so visibility is a big one. And need to do it all. Yeah, so you're not trusting that other people will do it or that you will be supported and held. Yeah, and that's a big one. As females, we like to do it all anyway. We don't want to show the vulnerability that we can't cope, and we can absolutely cope, but sometimes we just don't need to. We can let go of the reins and we can allow other people to support us. But we do have a reluctance around doing that. So it's a need to control. You want to control, Linda. So it's about being out of control, and that was one of the things that I found, that the only way that I could lose control was through drinking and drugs, which is why I spent many years under the influence, because it was my way of losing control and relaxing and letting myself go. Also, it was a way of blocking out stuff that I didn't want to deal with emotionally. So it's interesting that now I've stopped drinking, and I've not done drugs for a long time, but it's in some ways more challenging for me to find a way to actually let go, because I'm not doing. And I think one of the ways that I do actually is in meditation, when I'm doing like visualizations and stuff like this. This is where I really let go and my creativity comes in. So I guess that's my way of doing it. But it's a control thing as well. Okay. And Jackie wants to release the need to try harder, keep trying long after you should. Yes. So it's just recognizing when enough is enough, and you're not kind of push to the point that it's almost like you're kind of trying to get blood out of a stone, I suppose. And it's recognizing that actually that's not the right way, and it's about releasing control again and trusting the process. And with the way that we've been conditioned, that's quite hard to do. And it's more of an intuitive and more divine feminine way, which is becoming very much more apparent that we need to step into that energy. But we are fighting against old conditioning, old programming, and patriarchal ways of being. And some of that will be held within our Akashic records and within our energetic cells and our memory system as well. But it's dissolving, but we have to actually physically do that as well, and that can be the challenge, just stepping back and not pushing. And I think for you, Jackie, as well, around that there's something to prove there. There's an aspect of self-worth, I think, around that as well. That's your way that you demonstrate your self-worth by doing your very, 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 very best. And that might be in the way that you produce something or create something, and it can kind of come down to self-worth, but also judgment, I suppose, as well. So again, these are all really common that I'm very familiar with myself. Okay, so we're going to do the pendulum activation. We're going to do some grounding first. So if you just want to relax and close your eyes, if you don't have to close your eyes for this bit, But if you want to, just to kind of bring yourself into yourself and into the space further, I'm going to just kind of get you to take a deep breath in for me. And as you're taking that deep breath in, you're calling back your energy from across time and space, people and events. And on that out breath, I just want you to release any energies of the day, any stresses, any worries, any to-do lists. Just allowing those just to dissolve, just to be absorbed by the floor. And again, take another deep breath in. Calling back your energy from across time and space, people and events. And on that out breath, I just want you to start to relax the body. Allow everything just to soften. Starting to feel perhaps the chair or the bed underneath your sitting bones. And again, take another deep breath in. Calling back your energy from across time and space, people and events. And on that out breath, I just want you to imagine that you've got some thick, strong roots from the soles of your feet, just coming out of the soles of your feet, and they're going to make their way down to the earth. We're just going to make sure that we're very much connected with the ground. So if you're lying on a bed, I want you to imagine that your feet are on the floor. And we have these roots that are just making their way from the soles of the feet, and they're making their way through the earth, through the soil, through the ground, the rocks, the stones, the shale. Going deeper and deeper into the earth, towards the heart of the planet, the heart of Mother Earth. And the heart of Mother Earth is represented by a large crystal. Just sense, feel, see, notice, or just know what kind of crystal or colour that crystal is. And wrap your roots around that crystal. And as you start to wrap the roots around the heart of Mother Earth, you'll start to feel a shift, a beautiful connection, one that is very nurturing, grounding, nourishing. And as you make that connection with the heart of Mother Earth, you may also feel a connection at your own heart, as that energy is transmitted up through the roots, up through your Earth Star chakra, into your feet. And the energy continues to rise up the body, up the legs. And we take this energy through each chakra, just opening, activating each chakra point, so you're ready to receive the healing, the wisdom, the insight, the guidance that's there available for you this evening. So bring that energy up through the root chakra, and as you take this crystalline energy through each chakra, you may feel a shift, an opening, an activation. So taking it up through the spine, up through the root chakra, up through the sex organs and the sacral, up to the navel chakra, just below your belly button, higher again, above the belly button, through the solar plexus. Taking that energy now to the heart. We've already made this beautiful connection with the heart, but at the heart, I want you to just take a deep breath in for me. And on that out breath, expand the heart chakra, allowing the energy of Mother Earth and the love of Mother Earth just to penetrate the heart even more. allowing the energy, allowing this energy point to expand and fill the chest, taking it to a point that maybe just be slightly uncomfortable for you, but that's okay. We're just showing and allowing ourselves to be vulnerable, because in our vulnerability there is beauty and the ability to receive more than if we weren't vulnerable and this open. So just allowing the heart chakra to remain this open. So if you feel that your heart chakra wants to contract, I'm just going to request that the heart of Mother Earth allows your heart to stay open. And this is going to allow a deeper healing with our ancestors, with our connections to our family. Keeping that compassion and that love within the heart. So we're now going to bring the energy up to the shoulders and allowing it to fall down to the arms, down to the wrists. And I want you to place your hands with the backs of the hands on the legs, so your palms are facing upwards, and allow that energy to flood into your palms, opening up the palm chakras and really allowing yourself to receive. And again, this might feel uncomfortable for you to receive. Just sit within that uncomfortableness. Just notice if it's there. And again, just allow yourself. You are worthy. You are loved. You are deserving. And you do not need to sit and receive because you have earned it. There is nothing to do here for you to receive everything that you received tonight. You being here is enough. Now we're bringing that energy up through the throat, opening up the throat chakra, allowing it now to go into the head, up to the third eye, the point between your eyebrows, out to the ears, opening up the ear chakra so you can hear, sense your messages more clearly. Allowing the energy to flood into the middle of the head through the pituitary and pineal glands, and then up to the crown. And I sense that energy is just wanting to burst through the crown, almost like a fountain of energy. And as that fountain of energy bursts through, it's going through each of the etheric chakras above your head and at the back, lighting those up. And we're just allowing that beautiful crystalline energy just to flow around your physical body, through your aura. So you're being surrounded by whatever colour, whatever crystal energy you brought with you from the heart of Mother Earth. It's just now flooding your auric fields. It's filling the room. So you're completely surrounded, completely energized, feeling an immense sense of peace as you're sitting within this space. And we're now going to invite 6 archangels to hold the space further. So calling Archangel Michael, Raphael, Gabriel and Uriel. Please take a place around our bodies with Archangel Michael behind us, Archangel Gabriel to your left, Archangel Uriel in front, and Archangel Raphael to your right. We invite Archangel Sandalphon to take a space below our feet, bringing up the cord of Middle Earth, the connection to the elementals, and any other light being that is held within Middle Earth. That connection is there. And we're going to invite Archangel Metatron to bring down a golden cord of divine source energy from above through the ceiling of your room. And Archangel Metatron is just placing that connection at the crown. And that cord of energy is just making its way through the head, through the throat, through to the heart. The heart lights up even further and expands just a little bit more. And it continues through the solar plexus, the navel, the sacral, the roots, down the legs, through the feet, through the Earth Star chakra, and down to the heart of Mother Earth. So you're held above and below. We're now going to request that your ego leave the room. So I want you to imagine that there's an aspect of you that is now starting to get up. And you'll probably sense this as a figure, a version of you that's just starting to leave. And it may be a male, it may be an animal, maybe just a colour. But just sense or just know that your ego is happily just getting up, making their way over to the door, opening the door, stepping into another room or a corridor, and closing the door gently behind them. And your ego knows that they will be able to come back later after this session. So we're going to invite Archangel Metatron now just to seal off the doors and the windows of the room that you're sat in with golden creator substance, just further enhancing the space and purifying the energies within it. We're now going to invite your spiritual support team, your personal team, your spirit guides, and any other being of 100% pure love and light that you work with. Any other archangels and angels, please be with us now. Any elemental energies, fae, dragons, merfolk. Any diva energy. Any ascended masters that wish to step into the room. Any goddess, divine feminine, divine masculine. And any galactic beings that wish to be here. Galactic councils, star races, star beings. And any family guides that wish to hold the space, we invite you in. So you may want to just keep your eyes closed whilst I do this pendulum activation, or you can have them open. It's entirely up to you. And then once we've done this pendulum activation, we will be going into the Akashic records, but we're all prepped and primed and ready to go into the Akashic records. We're just going to do this first. So this is for our highest good, health, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. So everything that we clear and heal tonight, we're asking for all knowledge, wisdom to be kept intact in the Akashic records, with all lessons and learnings that can be kept there, that's fine. Any lessons that can be released, we are requesting that those energies are released and completed. Anything that involves any other souls, we're doing this for the highest good of all involved. So we're first of all going to transmute from our own emotional bodies cycles, negative cycles that we have that are from the bloodline. So they're from our parents, family lines, and the hold in the energy of disempowerment. So we may have cycles of behavior, thoughts, feelings where we have this cycle of disempowering ourselves, and it could be by a certain relationship or situation. So we're just transmuting that from the emotional body in particular. So as the pendulum is spinning, and it's spinning anti-clockwise, what that is doing is just releasing that. It's just when we're going to transmute it from this present lifetime, transmuting these cycles of energy, these disempowering cycles. So what this will do is just bring to awareness after this session where disempowerment really shows up in your life. And what that will do is it gives you the opportunity then to do something different, to respond in a different way. And then that will create a different result. So just look to see where you can disempower yourself, or notice what comes up after this session, where you can question it and actually reflect, actually, I've not done myself any favors there, and I've given my power away to somebody else, to a situation. Perhaps you're allowing somebody else to make a choice for you because it feels easier. It's what you've always done. But this is your opportunity to take your power back. And we're going to swap that energy out, that disempowerment energy, and we're going to boost the energy of integrity. So we're going to want to really question and really align and get clear on our values, and perhaps notice where we're out of integrity. That will give us an idea, and we're boosting integrity for us to feel more integral, want to be more integral to our own needs, our desires. So we're just activating that. So there will be more of an inclination, which will help with self-worth, help with our energy balance, help with setting more appropriate boundaries. So that's the first block cleared. So we're now going to go to the next block, and what we're doing is we're eliminating negative connections that are on the bloodline, again, maternal, paternal. Connections that hold subconscious fears, again, showing up in the emotional body. So it's things that we feel, these subconscious fears, and they hold the energy of anxiety. So any connections that are feeding anxiety, when perhaps there's no need to have this anxiety, we're just eliminating that connection. That doesn't mean that we're eliminating the connection full stop. It's just that energetic thread, that anxiety thread that comes from our bloodline, our ancestors, our family members. We're just eliminating those connections. So we then are not fed the energy of anxiety. So we're just releasing that. And it is coming from subconscious fears of those particular family members, that it might be appropriate for them to have those fears for whatever reason, but we don't need to be linked into them. So we're just releasing those. And we're going to replace that energy of anxiety, and we're going to boost the energy of happiness instead. So joy, happiness. So that's just going to be more available rather than the energy of anxiety. We're just swapping it out for happiness, and perhaps the need to seek out things that support our happiness, that create the energy of happiness, rather than falling into just feeling stressed, overwhelmed, low, overworked. We've got to have more of an inclination to look for the activities, people, situations that will boost that happiness. And we're now going to work on to the third one, which again, we're going to revoke an energy of worry. And this is coming again from the bloodline. And these are timeline loops. So they're a bit like cycles where the same thing will just keep happening over and over again, a bit like a broken record. And this worry is being held within the cells of the body. Coming from the bloodline, as I say, again, it's an emotional thing, and we're just revoking the energies of worry, revoking those timeline loops that are held within the cells. And this in particular is coming, this would be affecting your future self. So what we're doing is we're clearing this so this doesn't actually happen at all. So this is rooted in the future. And as you know, with the fifth dimension, time and space doesn't exist. So we're living past, present and future all at the same time, but our mind can't really get our heads around that. So from a 3D perspective, we have linear time because it's what keeps us sane. But in a fifth dimension, we don't. So this is why we can connect in with future timelines and release blocks. And we're now going to activate, instead of that worry energy, which is kind of similar to anxiety, as again, we're going to align with the energy of integrity. So just allow the energies of integrity to flood all of your timelines at this moment, flood your cells, flood your whole body, your auric field. Just really being able to stand in your power, stand in your values, understand what your values are, maybe tap into that and reflect on that more. What do you stand for? What would you like to stand for? And are you in alignment with that? Okay, so we've activated that. So the last thing that we're going to clear is we're going to clear any blockages around the archetype of prophet. So prophet as an archetype is like a sage, a guide, a seer. And this was something very specific for this group, that we have the archetype of prophet, but we've blocked it in some way. And so this is going to really support with us just trusting our intuition with anything that we do after this session, to allow ourselves to live more in flow, which is needed, with being more in balance with our energies, with releasing money blocks, abundance blocks. So anything that is blocking our ability to live more intuitively, to be more comfortable from that place, is a bonus in terms of clearing it. So this archetype of prophet, we're just clearing. We're evoking any blocks and trauma and limitations to whatever we've experienced in the past, present or future, where we have blocked this archetype. And so it might be that we were a seer in a particular lifetime, and we may have given information and it may have been misconstrued. It may not have evolved as we foresaw. And on the back of that, then there may have been great retribution. There could have been punishment, reprisal. And so as a way to protect ourselves, we block then that archetype, that aspect of ourselves. because we don't trust our intuition. It's let us down. Our prophecy skills let us down. So I'm going to block that aspect. So that's what we're just releasing here. And we're going to restore and balance this archetype now fully within our divine soul blueprints, please. Allow this archetype now to be fully expressed without fear. Allowing ourselves to trust with our intuition, trust the inner guidance that we receive, trust our connection with our guides, our higher self, whoever we choose to connect with. We're just enhancing that ability to trust, to receive that guidance, to act upon our own intuition. So we're just activating that within your whole body system, all lifetimes, all timelines, all universes, all dimensions, throughout the Akashic records. Just activating that, please. Okay, so is there anything else that I need to do? Okay, so that is the activation that's specific to this session. So if you want to take a deep breath, please do. If you want to drink any water. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to go into the Akashic records. So just to let you know, if you do drift off, it's perfectly normal. Because we're working at a very high vibrational level, where we're working at the, the kind of above the fifth dimension, or fifth dimension and above. We're working with our, soul star chakra and our other etheric chakras above. It just means that we're working at a very high conscious level. So sometimes our human mind, our 3D aspects need to be turned off to allow for that healing to go ahead. So I know that some people get quite frustrated because we go on this amazing Akashic journey and they don't experience, their conscious mind doesn't experience any of it, and that's perfect. It just means that the energy healing, what needs to happen is happening at a very deep level, very high vibrational level, and you just don't need to be present because your higher self and your your guides are managing the process, and it's all perfect. And of course you can go back and listen to these journeys over and over again, and you'll get something different each time, and you'll reach a different level, a different layer of healing, a different level of consciousness, a different layer of understanding. So I do recommend that you do go back and look at these masterclasses, because they're kind of like the gift that keeps on giving. Okay, so I hope that you found that in that pendulum activation good. So you can gently close your eyes again. We've called in the spiritual teams. So what I want you to start to imagine now, that you've got a purple light that's starting to present itself in front of you. And this is like a portal of light, a purple portal of light. And that portal of light is going to start to grow and expand in front of you. And as it grows and it expands, you may notice that there's perhaps sparkles of light within that portal. And when it gets big enough, I want you to step through that portal of light. And what we're doing is we're stepping through the third eye here, through your intuition, through your inner wisdom and inner guidance point. And you're going to find yourself in a corridor. And this is your corridor that leads to the Akashic records. So just sense, feel, know Visualize, imagine that you're walking up that corridor, noticing perhaps the floor beneath your feet, whether it's stone or wood, carpet, maybe even grass or sand. Starting to walk towards that door at the end of the corridor. And as you get to that door, just notice what it looks, feels like. And on that door, you'll notice, sense, feel, or just know that you have your details on the door. And this will be your full name, your date of birth, your place of birth. Once you have seen those details, you can visualize them or just know that they're there. Place your hand on the door handle. I want you to open the door, step into your Akashic records and allow the door to shut gently behind you. Take a few more steps into this space and just take in the look, the feel of your cosmic library, perhaps noticing how big it is. Has it changed since the last time that you stepped in? Are there any windows? Are there many, many books, or just perhaps a few? However your Akashic Records presents themselves today is perfect, and just know it can change each time. And if you can't visualize or imagine, just get a sense of what it feels like to be in your Akashic Records. This will feel very comforting. It will feel like you've come home because you're surrounded by your soul knowledge, your lifetimes of wisdom, insight, everything that you have achieved, experienced, gained is held within this point. And I want you to head towards the middle of your Akashic Records in that library, and you'll notice that there's a long table. And on that table there is a large book, and this book is open, and this is your present lifetime book that is being created, being updated every second of the day. And as you head towards that table, you'll notice the book has already got today's information already recorded. There might be some pictures and photographs, words, symbols, illustrations. And we're going to invite the Akashic Record keepers that wish to support you with today's session. And there may be more than one, so I'm going to invite your guides to step into your Akashic Records now. So I want you to face left from the table and start to notice figures coming towards you, and they could be energies, they could be colour, they may be people, angels, animals, galactic beings. Just notice what guides are stepping forward. And if these are unfamiliar, then feel free to ask for their names, if they have any. And greet your guides in any way that feels appropriate for you. Your guides are smiling, or you sense this energy of happiness and joy. And your guides know that you've come to do important work today. And that we have more support yet to step into the Akashic Records. But your guides want to take you to a place that's very special. And this place will be somewhere that you can go back to at any time that you wish to personally connect with your ancestors. And your guide is handing over to you a backpack and is requesting that you put this backpack on. You don't need to know what's within the backpack just yet. So taking that backpack from your guides, I want you to place it on your back. And then your guides starting to head towards a door. And your guides are telling you that they're going to be with you the whole time, that it's perfectly safe, that you're being held in love. So your guide is starting to open the door, and this is a door that you've not seen before, that's appeared in one corner of your library. Opening that door, following your guide, you're going to find yourself on a path. This is quite a stony path, and you notice that there's a river running beside you on the right hand side. I just want you to step into this environment as the door shuts behind you. You'll notice that the sky is blue. There may be a few white clouds, but the sun is shining high. The temperature is perfect for you, and it's very clear. You can feel the air is very fresh, very clean, very clear. And you can notice that you have mountains, a mountainous landscape around you with this aspects of forest on the mountains. There's lots of greenery, and you have this river that's running beside you. And your guide is inviting you to start to follow with your backpack on your back. Just following your guide and just noticing the sounds of that water that's passing you by. Maybe noticing if there's any animals beside you or in the distance as you're continuing to walk. And as you're walking, you're becoming more and more relaxed, forgetting any worries, any family issues, just melting away. As you're walking and enjoying the sunshine and enjoying the steady pace of the walk, this rhythm that you've got into, just following your guide, being outside, this beautiful, breathtaking scenery that's around you. And overhead, you perhaps see a hawk or a kestrel flying high, or perhaps it's an eagle. And you'll notice that the water is starting to slow slightly. And as you're walking forward, that river is starting to widen into a large lake. And you still notice that there's mountains around, but at the very far end in front of you, there's a waterfall that's falling into this lake. And your guides are asking you just to continue forward as we get closer to that waterfall. And it's almost like you're ending up on some kind of shore that's quite stony, but looking into the water, it's crystal clear. It's not too deep, So you can see the bottom, but it's very, very clear. So if you were to step into this water, it would be only up to perhaps your waist. And feeling that water, you can feel that it's at a beautiful temperature, not too hot, not too cold. And you can see the reflection of the mountains, the reflection of the sky. It's almost like a mirror on this lake. And you can hear the water, the waterfall, as it falls into this lake, into this pool. And your guides are starting to ask you to notice that either side of that waterfall, there's an opening, there's like another waterway that filters into this lake, into this pool of water. And your guides are asking you to focus on both of those aspects. One is coming from the left, one is coming from the right. And one on the left-hand side represents your maternal line, and the passageway on the right represents your paternal line. And this is going to be where your ancestors can step into this particular space, into this circle, into the lake of miracles. So we're now going to request the energy of Goddess Mary or Mother Mary, however you prefer to be called, or whatever you refer to her. We're now going to ask for her energy to step into your Akashic records, into this space. And I want you to start to sense, feel, know, or visualize this beautiful energy starting to step towards you. And Mary is smiling, and she's so filled with love. As she gets closer, you can feel this unconditional love that's just emanating from her. It's almost like she's in this sphere of love, this auric field of love. And she steps closer, and she tells you that it's okay, that there's nothing to be ashamed of, that you can hold your head high, that what you are doing here today is from your heart, and that whatever we do today will have huge ripple effects of impact, not only on your own energetic bodies and your divine soul blueprint within your life, but that of your ancestors too. What we are doing today is truly beautiful. And she feels honored to be part of this ceremony, of this special circle. And Mother Mary wants to step forward and hold you. So just allow yourself to be held by this energy. And just her holding you is releasing anything that you need to release, anything that you brought with you, that you wrote down, that you wanted to release as an intention. Mother Mary is now absorbing that energy for you, those intentions. She's taking those worries, those beliefs, that programming, that trauma, that stress, those illusions, those implants, those agreements and promises and contracts. Mother Mary is absorbing all of that from you, telling you and asking you to release it to her. She cannot be harmed. And as you're releasing this energy into hers, into that auric field of divine compassion and love, unconditional love that she holds, those limitations are just being dissolved and evaporated and transmuted back to divine source. So Mother Mary is just stepping back and just allowing you to be released. And we're now going to request all of the ancestors from your maternal and paternal lines, please step forward, start to make your way down the river, down each of the inlets that feed into the lake of miracles. Step into the boats and start to make your way, start to travel over onto the lake. And you may start to notice that there are long boats that are starting to make their way into the lake. And we are only requesting ancestors that are ready to release their fears, their agreements, their traumas, ancestors of pure light that wish to be released from their own traumas, persecution, beliefs, programming. So you'll notice that these boats are starting to come towards you. And it doesn't matter how many ancestors are within these boats. Just know that the right ancestors who are ready to receive the healing have made themselves known, have wanted to travel towards you to receive whatever blessings and release that they need to allow them to move forward in a more soul-aligned way. So as these ancestors make their way forward, the boats start to come up to the shore, both from the maternal and the paternal line. So you may see some female figures or even male figures getting out on each side. There may be children, there may be babies, souls of all ages stepping forward. And we're going to request that the ancestors that have wanted to step forward for healing to now make their way into the lake and head towards that waterfall of energy. And as you look at that waterfall of energy, you'll notice that it starts to turn gold. And this is the energy of divine source. And we invite now the ancestors to walk through that waterfall. And as they walk through that waterfall, every single one will be released of any blocks or restrictions that are not serving them. So notice all of these ancestors making their way through the waterfall, stepping through the waterfall. And you may notice that their energies, their auric fields, changing as they've stepped through this divine source energy. And as they step through, everything is being transmuted. All lessons, knowledge, kept intact in the Akashic records, but the bounds, the bondage of those blocks, their choices, their fears are being dissolved in that divine source waterfall. So the ancestors are forming a long line, perhaps, making their way through the waterfall, out the other side, back over to the shore of the lake. So just following your ancestors. So you're taking up the last space of that particular line. And eventually it will be your turn to step through and place yourself in that waterfall. So I want you to start to get closer and closer. And you'll notice that those ancestors are making their way over to the shore. And then it's your turn to step into that divine source light, into that waterfall. And I just want you to stand and just feel the energy of divine source washing over you, washing through your auric field, washing through the Akashic records. And whilst we're in this divine source energy, we're just going to release ourselves from any connections to our ancestors that are not serving us. Any ancestral or genetic DNA, karma, beliefs, programming, vows, contracts, bargains, implants, imprints. These are all being released in this waterfall. We're being completely cleansed. And we send love, we send forgiveness, we send healing to all of the souls that we are now being released from. We are only releasing the negative aspects of those connections, the ones that are not serving us. Anything held within any of the conscious levels, within our soul memory system, our energetic DNA, we're just releasing it all, but keeping all of the positive connections intact. Cleansing completely. Just feeling the energy of divine source washing over you. Any remnants, anything known or unknown, anything stuck, it's being worked through, it's being released. And divine source is absorbing it all. So now, stepping out of that waterfall, I want you to now walk through the lake of miracles. back towards the shore, back towards your guide and Mother Mary. And your guides are now inviting you to pick up that backpack and open up the backpack. And inside, what you're going to find is an ancestral offering, one that's going to support a beautiful connection. It's one that honors your ancestors, a way of thanking them for all that they have done before us, all of those tribulations, those struggles, those challenges, those things they've endured for us to be where we are today. So bringing out perhaps a symbol, an object, a word, a colour, whatever you pull out of the backpack is perfect. So just notice what it is that you bring out. And we are offering this to your ancestors as a way of honouring all that they have done, that they have achieved, that they have experienced. This is our way of honouring you and thanking you. Letting you know that we wish to continue this beautiful connection in future, but this is us showing gratitude and thanks. So placing that object on the shore, you'll notice the object is split into two, so it duplicates itself. And a representative of your maternal and paternal line steps forward. I just want you to notice what they look like. And you may not be able to see them, you may just sense or feel them, or just know that they're there. You have two energies stepping forward, and each of them give thanks and pick up this offering that we've made today. And these two energies, these spokespeople from both your maternal and paternal line, would like to offer you a totem. And this totem will represent a symbol of your connection, this renewed connection that you have with your ancestors. So whenever you perhaps see this totem, which could be a symbol, a word, a colour, an object, you will have that instant connection with your ancestors. You don't need to go into meditation. You will just have this sense of knowing. So your ancestor from your paternal line steps forward first. And asks you to step forward with your hands open. And into your hands, this offering is made. And this is a representation of your paternal line. And just notice what that symbol or totem is. Thanking your ancestor, they step back. And we now call forward the representative of your maternal line, allowing that ancestor to step forward. And again, they are requesting that you open your hands and feel that object being placed, that symbol being placed. And again, we thank your ancestors for that totem. And I want you to place those in your backpack and place that backpack on your back. So we just want to thank your ancestors for being here and for Mother Mary holding the space. One of your ancestors is now going to step forward to give you a message. This could be one of the representatives, or it could be a different ancestor. Allow that energy to step forward. And the message is going to give you an indication, a part of your soul's purpose whilst here in this life, in this human body. So allow that message to be given to you in any way that feels appropriate. This could be with words, with another symbol, with a sense of perhaps knowing. So that ancestor is going to give you that message now. And if you'd like further insight or clarity, then please ask any questions that you have. Your ancestor is waiting for you to ask. And then when you're ready, it's time for us to say goodbye to your ancestors. And you'll start to notice that they start to make their way back to their respective boats. And the boats start to return away from the lake as they head back up to their respective rivers until they've completely gone. And you're left on the shore with that golden waterfall and the lake of miracles before you. Your guides and Mother Mary are still stood beside you. Mother Mary wants to place a cloak of compassion around you. And this is going to just help you with showing compassion to yourself and perhaps compassion to others that are still with you in this present lifetime. This could be family, it could be friends, but primarily this is for yourself. So just allowing Mary to place this cloak of compassion around you. Just feel that being placed. And just feel that love, that unconditional love, as it wraps its energy around you. So it's time to say goodbye to Mary. You can do this in any way that feels appropriate for you. And then your guide starts to walk back towards the river. And you'll notice that the lake is starting to disappear. The water's starting to get faster and faster. And again, looking up at the sky, you'll notice that bird just circling above your head. And just feeling that sun on your skin. The sound of the river in your ears. as you're heading towards the door of the Akashic records. So your guide is opening the door and allowing you to step through, and is closing the door behind you, and you're back in your library. And your guide is inviting you to step now towards the table with your present lifetime book, and is asking you to take out those totems from your backpack and pulling the present lifetime book towards you. You'll already notice that your offering to your ancestors has already been imprinted and installed into your Akashic records. Perhaps the image, the picture of the miracle of lakes, the lake miracle, is already in there. But your guide is inviting you to press those totems into the page of the book. Whatever those totems were, we're now installing those and further enhancing the connection with your ancestors. So whenever you think of that totem, you know that you can connect at any time and call forward whatever ancestor from that particular line in to help you, in to support you. So your guide is now saying that it's time to leave. So say goodbye to your guides in any way that feels appropriate for you, knowing that you have that message and that insight around some of your soul purpose and how you can support yourself, or what you perhaps desire to do in this lifetime. You have that knowledge from your ancestors. So saying goodbye to your guide, start to head towards the door of your Akashic records. And taking one more look around your cosmic library, open the door of your Akashic records and step back into the corridor. Allow the door to shut behind you, and actively out loud or in your mind, say, I now close my Akashic records. And you'll notice that you still have that cloak of compassion wrapped around you, and that will just start to absorb into the physical body, into your auric field. And that's just held now as codes that have been activated, compassion codes within your energy bodies, within the physical body, so that you can more easily connect with that energy of compassion whenever it's needed. Walk towards that purple portal of light at the end of your corridor. As you get to that purple portal light, I want you to step through that light and start to bring yourself back into the room. Start to rub your thighs, start to ground the information, ground the energy healing, ground the messages, and just bring yourself back into the room. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes, you can have a stretch, you can drink water. And I just request that you do drink lots of water over the next 24 hours, just so you can flush that energy, that physical energy through. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to get my card. This is just going to help you ground. So I'm just going to, so if you feel like you need to ground more, you can perhaps go for a walk. But I'm just going to just hold that up as well. So this is a Earth Star chakra. So it's just going to allow you to ground back in. Just turn that round, actually. I'll just do that way. Okay. So feel free to just write down a few notes. I know we're at 9 o'clock, so you may just want to, whilst it's still fresh in your mind, just write down anything that you received, the totems, the soul purpose message, perhaps how you felt, what you saw. And if you didn't really get any clear answers or messages, we're just going to make that intention that things get grounded, that things start to come through into your conscious. So there might be just kind of ideas that just come to you, and that will be the messages coming through in that way instead. So however it comes through, it will come through because we're intending it. So if you want to let me know how you got on, if you've got any questions, any feedback, then please do put it into the chat, or if you want to come off mute, then you can do that as well. We will go slightly over just to kind of cover off this bit. But if you want to write anything down, just write it down as well. So that was quite intense, which was beautiful. Yeah. So have I completely knocked everybody out? And that's okay. I know that we can be a bit kind of fuzzy when we come out of these things because we go really deep. So Alison said it was very powerful. Thank you. Yeah, so I think the key thing is, excuse me, is just to see how you feel about certain situations when it comes to family. So if you're going back to what you were reflecting on before we went into that session, just notice what the changes are there. So you know if you don't feel as triggered, or you feel that you're starting to behave in a different way, you're starting to step more into your integrity with certain people, or being more open with your, what your values are, being able to express those more in a more empowered way, in a more confident way, then things have shifted. So this is, for me, I'm just kind of trying to get you to understand how this works in terms of shifting and changing. So things can happen quite dramatically, but usually it tends to be a bit more gentle, and you'll just notice that things that used to irk you or piss you off just don't. Or you start to just think about things in a different way that you would not have done before, and that's when you know that energy has shifted. Other things have been activated, and you have this more of a passion to express that, or to stand in your power with that, which you wouldn't have done before. So that was just ways to kind of notice the things afterwards. You may also notice things going, quite wrong. Things breaking down, drama suddenly showing up, and chaos and things like that. And, if we've been cutting cords and energetically breaking stuff within whatever was released in that golden waterfall, and when you were being held by Mother Mary, you may have been breaking cords and connections and hooks and things like that. So that can then show up with the person or the relationship or whatever it might be, then wanting to reconnect. And so they bring stuff to your door. So that is also another way to show that energy has shifted. But it's, we always think, oh, well, this is going to be like a really beautiful and pleasant, the results that we get. Sometimes it doesn't come in that way. We have to then notice that things have been like shook up, that the silt from the bottle of the jar of mud, it's got to go all cloudy before it then settles again. And so it's through that we can then stand in our power and make changes. but just, you know, that's just another way that things can fall away. They have to release themselves. They have to step out of your experience. But with stepping out of your experience, there can be a bit of drama. And so just hold it in a very neutral and just know that things are shifting, and that's something to be celebrated, but it can feel uncomfortable. Okay, so I was just channeling that message through for you. Okay, so I'm just having a look at the comments. So Marita got my head's all over the place, bear with me. We've got a Trinity Knot, like card 3. Yes, with the will, wisdom and mind. Last Sunday is a gift to my ancestors. That's amazing. That's beautiful. So that, I love that Trinity of 3. So maternal, paternal and yourself all coming together. So that's beautiful. Lovely energy. Thank you. It's very deep. Thank you, Sarah. Tiffany said that was amazing. Lots of ancestors came. Yeah, for me, I kind of visualized it as being like these Viking longboats filled with all these people. Lovely gifts exchanged and message given. Thank you. Got to go to work now. Yes. So Tiffany, enjoy work. Until next time. Okay. Jackie says that was very deep. Thank you. Brilliant, Jackie. Linda said she slept but could feel like she went on a lovely trip. Looking forward to doing it again. Amazing, Linda, and that's perfect that you slept. That's just exactly what you needed. Rachel said she feels at peace, love and forgiveness. Feel free to step forward in life. Amazing. That's beautiful. A little bit like that hook. I don't know why the bird kept coming in. It was also like, it was almost like an aspect of freedom, and that's kind of what we were. I don't know, there was just that aspect with that bird just kind of flying around. Marion said that was wow, so powerful, got a boomerang. Amazing. A rose and the love, love, love always. A white cloak from Mother Mary, feeling so cold. Beautiful session. Okay, thank you, Marianne. Conchetta said that was powerful and deep. Lots of yawning, so already releasing. Amazing. Yes, that's just another way of knowing that you're releasing if you're yawning a lot. Marita said it was a very deep session, felt very tearful when you introduced Mother Mary. Yeah, I felt a deep sense of emotion when she stepped in. I did get that and when she was wanting to really take our woes and our anxieties and, you know, the things away that we just don't need. That did feel very beautiful. She got to leave. Yeah, no problem, Marita. Victoria says she fell asleep, was given a note, but not sure what it says. Okay, so go back or just ask for your guides to bring that consciousness through. So maybe not even having to go back, just ask for it to be brought through in a very, very clear way, in a way that you completely understand that it's linked with this session. So be quite commanding with your guides, with how you want your communication. We don't have to kind of say, oh, you know, just give me this guidance. You just, you know, I want it like this. So I know it's very, very clear. And that's okay. We're allowed to do that. Okay, feel woozy and tired. Yeah, I feel a bit woozy. Gave my ancestors a cross. Thank you. Okay, perfect. Scylla said, as usual, she slept most of the time. That's okay. It's all happening. You don't need to be conscious. Juliana said it was intense, felt love with Mary. Felt like love for the first time. Yes. Amazingly held by her love, warmth, safe, supported no matter what, no judgment. So beautiful. Didn't want to leave, yet helped me in her cloak, keeping her warmth with me. Got out of the bag, glowing white light circle. I got a circle as well. The male line gave me a triangle in form, including pyramid. Female side gave me an infinity symbol. Yeah, I had with my female maternal side, I had a circle with a dot, which I think is it the female symbol? I don't know. It was a symbol with a dot, but what I got was that was linked with my galactic heritage. So I felt that the maternal line was much more starseed than the paternal line. So it was almost like these were my galactic ancestors that had stepped forward in that particular session by that symbol, which was weird, but that's what I sensed. Jackie said she can't remember anything and couldn't come back from it either. You were all back when I came to, and I'm freezing to the core. Okay, so Jackie, so you've been on a very deep journey. So what I would say is set the intention for the information to come through. Obviously, you can go back and do this in the morning, not tomorrow morning, but when you feel, but in a morning when you feel much more awake. But also set the intention, maybe just through writing, that you get the messages and the insight come through, and do it in that way, rather than going in back into the meditation. But freeze into the core just means that you've been releasing a lot of old stagnant energy, which is perfect, which is what this purpose of this session was. So what I recommend is, as I say, drink lots of water over the next 24 hours. Continue to notice the shifts. You may feel tired. You may feel very energized. You may feel angry, irritated, upset. It's all perfect. It just means energy is shifting. There may not be anything at all. That's also perfect as well. Continue to journal if you want to journal. And just know that you've now got this ancestral connection. So whatever the symbols that were brought through for you, so for instance, if it was, for me, I know that I have an ancestral symbol of a snake. So for me, whenever I think of a snake, then I can call my ancestors in, or a dragon. So that's the way that they connect with me. So just bear in mind what your totem is and continue to work with your ancestors, because they are here to help and support you. So if you've got any further questions, do let me know. And of course, if you want to go deeper, then I have got a much bigger supportive container, a one-to-one container that you can work with me within, where we can do more of this stuff, and I will be doing other stuff with you as well. So if that's something that, if you really want to go deep over 3 months, then do let me know. That's a new program that I'm going to be launching very, very soon. Okay, so thank you, Alison. So these Conchetta says the circle with the dot in the, yes, it's the sun, for the symbol for the sun, of course it is. And I love the sun. I connect with the sun so much. It is one of my energies that I have to have. Yes, how interesting, Conchetta. Thank you for telling me that. That makes so much sense. The energy of the sun just comes through in so many ways. And Linda says, thank you, it was beautiful. Feel very rested. Amazing. Okay, so I'm going to let you all go. If you want to sign up for that next masterclass, then do let me know. And yes, go and get some good sleep. Go and get grounded. Go and sit with your feet outside on the earth. That's what I'm going to go and do. Eat some dark chocolate, eat potatoes, eat some crisps. Anything that's grounding from a vegetable perspective is good, and drink lots of water. Okay, so I'm going to let you all go. Sorry for going slightly over. I hope you enjoyed that. And of course, give any feedback that you can. The replay will be going out to you tomorrow morning, so you will have that lifetime access. Okay, thank you so much. No, it's absolutely fine, Deborah. Don't worry. It's absolutely fine. You came in when you needed to. Okay, love and blessings. Have a beautiful rest of your day and evening, and I will speak to you all soon.